My roommate told me to take off my clothes and pose for him as a model. I didn't think much of it, I just obeyed. But then his hands started wandering. Shock jolted through me. Aren't you straight? He gave a low, mocking laugh. I've spent 3 years painting your portrait. Do you really think that's something a straight guy would do? Welcome to He History channel. Subscribe to follow all our latest adventures. Story begins. Take off your clothes. I nearly toppled out of my chair when I heard that. My fingers froze above the keyboard, mid-sentence in my thesis. Turning, I found Philip Anderson standing squarely in the middle of the dorm, sketchbook in hand, as if his request were the most natural thing in the world. What the hell is wrong with you? I pushed my glasses up, ears burning. Without a word, he dropped the board onto my desk. A blank sheet of paper was clipped neatly in place. Graduation project. Missing a model. Then go find one. Doesn't the art department have a whole group chat for recruiting? I spun back to my laptop, feigning indifference, though my heart thudded like I just sprinted a mile. Philip dragged a chair over and straddled it right in front of me, arms slung lazily across the backrest. The posture boxed me in. None of them fit as well as you do. His lips curved, eyes narrowing with amusement. Besides, I've been sketching you for 3 years. Haven't I already seen it all? A dimple winked at his cheek as he smiled. Get lost. I hurled a pillow at him, only for him to catch it easily. He grabbed my wrist, thumb brushing lightly over the sensitive skin inside as he leaned closer, deceptively casual. Think about it. Just the upper body, I promise. Philip always looked careless, but every move was deliberate. Like now, pretending nonchalance while his thumb drew sparks along my pulse. Didn't you say your project was landscapes? Since when did it turn into figure studies? I tried to deflect, tugging at my hand. My professor said it lacked impact. Suggested I add the human form. He bent down, his breath grazing the edge of my ear. And I figured, why ask a stranger when I already know your body best? My mind went blank. The body he knows best? Sure, we'd showered together before, changed clothes in the same room without caring. But from his lips, the words sounded different. You're full of it. Last week you called me a stick. I forced a scoff and stood to grab some water, only for him to pull me back. His hand slid down my arm to my elbow, giving it a firm squeeze. Beautiful bone structure. Exactly what artists crave. Especially your shoulders, your collarbones, perfect. I nearly choked on air. Was he drunk? He joked plenty, but never like this. Austin Alexander, just help me out. We'll start with you dressed. If it doesn't work, fine. I stared at his unusually serious expression. He really was worried. Philip never compromised on his art. He'd rather tear up 10 drafts than hand in one he hated. Fine. Clothes stay on. His eyes lit instantly. He sprang up to set the easel by the bed. Sit like you're reading. Natural. I leaned against the headboard, book in hand. But through the corner of my eye, I saw him still staring. What now? He plucked the book away. Too stiff. Then he guided me into place, hand pressing my wrist to my knee, tilting my head toward the window. Each brush of his fingers sent heat skittering across my skin. Grabbing his hand, I hissed, necessary for sketching, is it? His breath mingled with mine as he chuckled low. I'm just finding your best angle, model. His thumb grazed over my lower lip. Relax this. I jerked back so fast my skull nearly met the wall. You son of... Perfect. Don't move. He retreated with the sketch pad, pencil scratching as a sly smile tugged at his mouth. For half an hour I held the pose, body aching, while he worked in total concentration, brow furrowed, tongue darting over his lip. Nothing like the shameless flirt he usually was. Break. He finally set the pencil down. I collapsed into the mattress, massaging my sore neck. Done. First sheet. He spun the pad toward me. My likeness stared back, every fold of my t-shirt, even the play of lamplight across the bed, rendered in detail. See? I told you, you're perfect for modeling. He arched a brow smugly. Before I could answer, the dorm door creaked open. Jonathan Marquette stepped in, food bags in hand. He stopped dead at the sight. "What's this?" "Austin's modeling for me." Philip said it like nothing, flipping the pad closed. Jonathan smirked. "Modeling? On the bed? Get out." I flung the pillow again. Philip just laughed. When Jonathan disappeared into the bathroom, I whispered sharply, "You're serious? A whole series?" Philip's smile softened. He brushed back the fringe falling over my forehead. "Dead serious. And sooner or later, you'll be undressed." My eyes widened. He just slipped back into his lazy grin, humming as he carried a cigarette to the balcony. After that, I avoided the dorm for 3 straight days. The library became my sanctuary. Even my advisor marveled at my sudden dedication. Friday afternoon in the cafeteria, Jonathan clapped me on the shoulder. "Austin, you've been working hard lately." I ducked my head, pushing cold Kung Pao chicken around my plate. I couldn't exactly tell him I was just hiding from my own roommate. That excuse sounded ridiculous, even to me. "Philip Anderson's been going crazy looking for you." Jonathan Marquette leaned in, lowering his voice. "He said if you don't get back to modeling soon, his graduation show is going to have a gaping hole in it." The peanuts slipped from my chopsticks, clattering back into the plate. Pushing my glasses up, I felt the tips of my ears burning. "And what else did he say?" "That you two already agreed on a whole series." Jonathan blinked, clearly confused. "Did you guys fight or something?" I shook my head, fumbling for a brush off, when my phone buzzed against the table. One new message flashed across the screen. "Waiting outside the lab building. Run again and I'll tell the whole department you sleep in my jersey. Philip Anderson." That bastard. I choked so hard my face went crimson. It had rained last week, my clothes weren't dry, and I'd borrowed his shirt for one night. That was all. "What's up?" Jonathan peered curiously. "Nothing. Gotta go." I grabbed my tray and bolted. By the time I stepped out of the cafeteria, the sky was already sinking into dusk. Late spring air carried the faint sweetness of locust blossoms. And there he was. Philip Anderson leaned against the ginkgo tree outside our lab building, hoodie hood loose over his head, a pencil twirling easily between his fingers. When he spotted me, that signature crooked grin spread across his face. My first instinct was to turn and flee, but he was already striding forward, hooking his hand into my backpack strap. "Got you, deserter." His breath brushed against the side of my neck, and my body went rigid. "I'm not running. I really am busy." I tried to shake him off, but his arms slid smoothly over my shoulders, holding me close. "Too busy to answer a single message? Do you have any idea how many sketches I've scrapped because of you?" Half dragging, half steering me, he pulled me toward the art building. The campus was nearly deserted at this hour, yet every passerby gave us curious looks. Philip didn't care in the slightest. His fingers tapped idly on my shoulder as though we were alone. Finally, as we turned into the side entrance, I snapped, "Where exactly are you taking me?" "The studio." He dangled a key in front of me. "My personal workspace. Professor approved." At the end of the 3rd floor corridor, he unlocked a door. The room was tidier than I'd imagined. Canvases, sketchbooks, paints, all neatly organized. Watercolors half-finished hung on the walls. But what caught my eye was the lone sofa in the corner. Draped over its arm was a navy blue jacket I knew all too well. Shit. That was the one I'd lost last month. "When did you steal this?" I snatched it up, faint traces of tobacco clinging to the fabric. "Left it in the dorm," he said lightly, sharpening a stick of charcoal. "I used it for a still life. Forgot to return it." He gestured to the chair by the window, then pulled up a tall stool, straddling it backwards. The angle forced him forward, hoodie slipping low enough to expose the line of his collarbone. I remembered, uncomfortably, the way he'd once said mine looked perfect. Tugging my neckline up, I shifted. "Don't move. Hold that angle." The next half hour passed in silence, broken only by the scratch of charcoal. Philip worked with utter focus, occasionally biting his lip, frown deepening. The setting sun gilded his lashes, casting delicate shadows across his face. I'd never stared at him this long before. That was when I noticed it, an almost invisible scar at the end of his right brow. "You can move if you're tired," he murmured, still without lifting his eyes. I stretched my aching neck. "How did you even know I was watching you?" "It's obvious. Being stared at feels different. Especially yours. You look at me like I'm under a microscope in physics lab." His laugh was soft. I snatched up an eraser and tossed it at him. He caught it midair without missing a beat. "Fiery," he teased, blowing on it before setting it down. "But the tension shows in the drawing. Strong eyes." He turned the board around. The figure on the page was me, and not me, brows furrowed, mouth pressed thin, and behind the glasses, a pair of eyes burning too bright. My throat tightened. "This? Like it?" Philip hopped off the stool, stepping close, so close I could count his lashes. The air between us thickened, electric. My voice came rough. "What exactly are you trying to draw?" He plucked the glasses from my face, thumb brushing across my brow. "The real you. Not the model student in the lab. Not the easygoing roommate." My heart slammed against my ribs. I gripped his wrist. "Then what?" "The one who steals my clothes, who cuts off the hot water when I shower, who calls my name in his sleep." I shot upright. "You're making shit up." Unbothered, Philip slipped his phone from his pocket, thumb swiping across the screen. Static buzzed, and then my own voice rang out, unguarded, trembling. "You were talking in your sleep last night." He paused the recording, eyes lit with something sharp and unnerving. "I want to know what came after the word don't." Heat rushed to my head so violently I saw white. I lunged for his phone, but he caught me mid-motion, yanking me by the waist. Art supplies clattered to the floor. My knee hit his leg, my whole body nearly collapsing against him. "Let go!" I thrashed, but his grip only tightened. "Shoo, don't move." I thought he was gearing up for another shameless line, until I saw his gaze flick past me. Following his eyes, I realized the windows had gone dark. Storm clouds had gathered without me noticing, thunder grumbling in the distance. "It's going to rain." He released me, striding to the window to shut it just as the first raindrops struck the glass. Then the second. Then the third. A downpour swallowed the world outside. Mist rose, fogging the panes. Philip tugged the curtains shut. When he turned, his elbow knocked over a stack of canvases. And my breath caught. Every single one was me. Me reading in the library. Me drinking water on the edge of the basketball court. Me hanging laundry on the balcony. The oldest dated back to last autumn. I was in that gray hoodie. My throat tightened. When did you draw all these?" Philip crouched, gathering the fallen paintings as carefully as though they were relics. "Sketch class last semester. Color composition last month. Quick studies last week. I've lost track." "You've been stalking me?" I stumbled back, bumping into the easel. He only smiled, propping the stack against the wall. "Why would I need to stalk you? We live in the same dorm, sit through the same lectures, eat across from each other in the cafeteria. You just never noticed I was watching." He straightened, hoodie collar slipped askew, exposing a sliver of collarbone. A flash split the sky, flooding the room with white. For that heartbeat of light, his eyes glowed with impossible intensity. Thunder cracked after, rattling the window panes. "Why me?" I asked. Philip didn't answer right away. He stood by the window, his reflection broken into ribbons by raindrops snaking down the glass. "At first, it was just that you looked like my type. Later I realized." "Realized what?" He turned with that infuriating grin. "Realized you're fascinating. On the surface, a bookworm. In reality, the guy who sneaks into my clothes, cuts off my hot water as a joke, and calls my name in his sleep." "Bullshit." I grabbed the nearest sketchbook and hurled it. He caught it one-handed, flipped to a page, and held it up. "Want me to show you how vivid you look dreaming?" My face burned. On the page, me sleep. Every lash carefully drawn. Worse, the corner of my mouth curled in a faint smile, as if I were dreaming of something unspeakable. "Pervert!" I lunged to snatch it back, but he pinned my wrist against the wall. The lights cut out. The studio drowned in black. Only the occasional lightning strike lit his face, unbearably close. "Let go. Tell me," he breathed, "what was I doing to you in that dream?" His breath inched nearer. The rain roared, thunder rolled, my heartbeat collided with both. My mind was a blank canvas. All I could register was his warmth pressing in, the faint pine scent clinging to him. His lips nearly touched mine when, "Philip Anderson? You in there? Professor sent me for the exhibition forms." Jonathan Marquette's voice rang from outside. "Open the damn door." I shoved Philip hard, fumbling blindly for my glasses. He leaned close, voice low. "What are you hiding for? Get the hell off me." My elbow jabbed into his ribs, drawing a grunt. Knocking grew sharper. "Philip? Power's out, what are you doing in there?" "Coming." Philip finally let go, groping his way to the door. I darted behind the easel, heart hammering against my ribs. The door creaked open. Jonathan's flashlight beam cut through the dark, settling suspiciously on Philip's rumpled clothes. "What took you so long?" Philip deflected smoothly. "Forms are in the left drawer." "What are you two doing? Austin Alexander's here too?" The flashlight beam swung and hit me square in the face. Instinctively, I raised a hand to shield my eyes. "He's modeling for me," Philip Anderson cut in smoothly, stepping in front of me. Then the storm hit and we got stuck. Jonathan Marquette's expression shifted into dawning realization. "Oh, so before the blackout you two were sketching." My voice cracked halfway through, but I forced the word out, sharp and final. "Yeah. Sketch and G." Philip drew the syllables out one by one, his tone strangely loaded. Jonathan lifted the form in his hand. "All right, I'll just take the paperwork then." "Oh, and the dorm's out too. You two are..." "We'll head back when the rain eases." Philip cut him off, slamming the door shut so fast it nearly clipped Jonathan's nose. Darkness reclaimed the studio. The rain drummed relentlessly against the glass. I could hear Philip's footsteps approaching. "Don't come any closer." I stumbled back, shin knocking into the sofa. "What are you afraid of?" His voice carried that infuriating smile. "Didn't you say we were just sketching?" I hurled the jacket from the sofa straight at him. "Enough already." He caught it easily, sighing. "Austin Alexander. We need to talk." Those words terrified me more than any tease. My whole body went stiff, blood congealing in my veins. "Talk about what? If it's about just now, then it didn't happen." "Didn't happen? You sure?" His footsteps stopped in front of me. Lightning split the sky, and in that blinding flash, I saw the laughter gone from his eyes, replaced with a seriousness I'd never seen before. A warm palm pressed against my cheek. "Your heart's beating so fast I can hear it," he murmured, thumb brushing the edge of my ear. "Tell me how that's nothing." I slapped his hand away. "Then what do you want?" Silence stretched in the storm dark. I heard him inhale, steady and deep. "My exhibition theme, I changed it. Invisible light. Every piece is about you." My mind emptied out. "The canvases on the wall? Dress. What I really want to capture is the way you look at me. When did I ever? Like now." His hands pressed down on my shoulders. Wanting to run, but still leaning closer. I opened my mouth to deny it, but he cut me off. "Austin Alexander, do you dare say you feel nothing for me at all?" The question detonated in the dark. My fists clenched, nails biting into my palms. "We're roommates," I muttered hoarsely. "Not in 3 months. We're both guys. So what?" I backed away until my legs hit the edge of the sofa. Every sense sharpened in the dark, the scent of rain and turpentine clinging to him, the vibration of his chest when he spoke. "I don't know what you're talking about." I turned my head, but he caught my chin, forcing me back. His thumb pressed against my lower lip, not too hard, not too soft. "You push your glasses up every time you lie. You just did it again." Only then did I realize my hand had moved reflexively. Heat scorched my ears. "Can we not talk about this here?" "Then where? The dorm? The cafeteria? Or the library corner you've been hiding in for the past 3 days?" His voice brushed so close, our noses nearly touched. I jerked my head up. You've been following me? Why would I need to? Every morning, 7:20 sharp, you head out. First stop, vending machine at building 3 for coffee in. Freak. I shoved him back, but he only seized my wrist, pinning it against the wall. Freak? Then who hoards my sketchbooks under his pillow? Who washes out the soda cans I drank from and lines them on his shelf? Blood pounded in my skull. How the hell did he know? I'd always waited until he wasn't around. As if reading my thoughts, Philip leaned closer. Last winter, I came back early for supplies. Saw you staring at my empty can. Lightning flared, etching his face in stark detail. I'd never hated a storm more. That was recycling. I blurted, the words hollow even to me. Oh, really? His fingers slid from my wrist into my palm, teasing lightly at the center. Then what about the sketchbook I tore my room apart looking for? Why was it under your pillow? My mouth went dry. My brain completely blank. That sketchbook was full of Philip Anderson's casual drawings, stray cats on campus, the sycamores outside the lecture hall windows, and countless sketches of my profile. You've been drawing me this much, he said suddenly, shifting the subject without warning. Isn't it fair I collect some interest? Before I could even process the words, his lips crashed onto mine. The kiss was a heady mix of mint and smoke, rough and merciless. My hands fisted in his hoodie, unsure if I meant to push him away or pull him closer. Anderson th. Every protest dissolved against his mouth. His palm cupped the back of my neck, fingers threading into my hair, tugging lightly. The gesture made my whole body weaken. Just when I thought I'd suffocate, he eased back a fraction, forehead pressed to mine, both of us gasping. Still want to say you feel nothing? My chest heaved. I realized my hand was still tangled in his collar and jerked it back. The motion only made him laugh low in his throat. Austin Alexander, admit it. You're just like me. I'm not. I shoved him hard, words tumbling out in a rush. You have a girlfriend. It was like dousing us both in ice water. Philip froze, breath harsh. Who? Michelle Clark. My voice cracked. Last Friday I saw you at the back entrance of the art building, kissing her. Silence. Heavy, unbearable silence. Then, Philip burst out laughing. Doubled over, shoulders shaking. I stood there, heat and shame rising up in equal measure. You're kidding me. That's what this is about, he said, still grinning. You've been avoiding me because... Is that funny to you? I turned to leave, but he yanked me back. That wasn't a kiss. Her boyfriend cheated on her. She came to vent, ended up crying, and I patted her on the back. Oh, so patting her back requires mouth-to-mouth? I spat. She's 5'2". I'm 6'1". Maybe it looked that way from your angle, but there's nothing between us. His face was infuriatingly guileless. I pressed my lips tight, unwilling to answer. Lightning lit the studio again, and in that moment, I caught the gleam in his eyes. Jealous? He teased, giving my fingers a squeeze. I yanked my hand free. Don't flatter yourself. I just don't play ambiguous games with straight guys. Straight. He laughed like I'd told the best joke. Austin Alexander, I've been sketching your face for 3 years. Do you honestly think a straight guy would do that? I froze. The thought split through me like lightning itself. Philip Anderson, the golden boy of the art department, the one who never lacked admirers, might actually come to my graduation exhibit, he said, voice softer now. See invisible light when it's finished. Then decide if you still want to keep running. What? I'll make you understand. Outside, the storm was tapering off. Static crackled faintly from the campus loudspeakers in the distance. A moment later, the fluorescent light above flickered, sputtered twice, then blazed to life. I flinched, squinting against the sudden brightness. When my eyes adjusted, he was standing just one step away, smiling that infuriating, familiar smile. Power's back, he said, though he didn't move. All around us, scattered sketches of me stared up from the floor. The one on top showed me asleep on a library desk, cheek pressed into my folded arms. I crouched down, fingertips hovering above the paper. When did you draw this? Philip crouched too, shoulder brushing mine. Every time you nod off. You don't know how terrible you look when you sleep. I turned my head toward him, saw the smudge of charcoal dust streaked across his right cheek. Without thinking, I reached to wipe it away. But the instant my fingers grazed his skin, he caught my wrist. His gaze locked onto mine. Promise me. Come to the exhibit. There was no teasing in his voice now, only a weight I couldn't brush off. I found myself nodding. Good. His grin returned, softer this time, as he let go and rose. Now, back to the dorm? The walk home carried the scent of rain-scrubbed earth. Philip strolled beside me, bumping his shoulder into mine every so often, just like countless nights over the past 3 years. Except now, everything felt different. Every brush of contact sparked like static, every glance made my chest pound. Austin Alexander. He stopped me under the dorm building lights. What? He leaned close, whispering against my ear, "Don't talk in your sleep tonight." My face went scarlet. I kicked his shin hard enough to make him yelp. He only laughed and sprinted upstairs. After that, we settled into a strange kind of balance. Philip Anderson never mentioned the studio again, but he invaded my space in 100 new ways. My shampoo was mysteriously swapped for his peppermint brand. Chocolate bars, his favorite, started showing up in my drawer. Even the bookmarks in my textbooks somehow turned into sketches of my own face. "You two are disgusting lately," Jonathan Marquette muttered one afternoon, pulling a face as he caught us sharing a pair of earbuds. Only then did I realize how close our shoulders were. Flustered, I tried to edge away. Philip just hooked an arm around my neck, shoving the other earbud into my ear. Jealous. He arched a brow at Jonathan. "Go find your girlfriend." Jonathan swore under his breath and left. I squirmed, trying to free myself from Philip's grip, but he pressed me down in the chair. "Sit. Listen." The intro hit and I froze. It was the same track I'd faintly heard that rainy night in the studio. Philip's smile widened at my reaction. That night I was about to. "Shut up." My face burning, I slapped a hand over his mouth. He caught my fingers and bit down lightly, smirking against my skin. The night before the graduation exhibition, Philip disappeared. All I got was a text, "Tomorrow, 3 p.m. don't be late." The next afternoon, I stood outside the art museum, my heart beating erratically. The gallery was packed. His section drew the largest crowd. I pushed through and then saw Invisible Light. It was a set of 4 paintings, each from a different angle. A dim studio. 2 boys kissing as the rain poured outside. The lighting was masterful, clear enough to show that one of them was Philip Anderson himself, blurred just enough to shield the identity of the other. But I knew. Every detail betrayed me. The tilt of my slipping glasses, the swirl of hair at my nape, the wrinkled gray shirt I wore far too often. Like it? His familiar voice curled from behind me, breath ghosting warm as his pinky hooked mine. I bolted. He caught up, cornering me in the fire escape behind the museum. "Austin Alexander. Talk to me." Up close, I saw the dark shadows under his eyes. My chest softened. "Are you insane? What if someone recognizes me?" "Then let them." I painted the truth. Philip Anderson. Austin Alexander, 3 years. I'm done with this chase. I opened my mouth, words stuck in my throat. Sunlight slanted through the corridor window, throwing long shadows across his lashes. "Give me an answer. Yes or no?" I huffed out a laugh. "Is this supposed to be a confession?" His brow lifted. "Who said anything about confessing? It's a threat." Then he kissed me. In the bright afternoon sun, in a hallway where anyone could walk past, he kissed me again, this time gentler, careful, almost reverent. When I finally wrapped my arms around his neck, I heard the contented sigh leave his chest. "Congratulations on graduating," he whispered against my lips. "It's not even June. An early celebration. We've got all the time in the world." Later, Invisible Light won Best in Show at the graduation exhibition. The judges praised it as a vivid portrayal of the hidden yet authentic dimensions of modern youth's emotions. Philip pinned the certificate to the wall of our shared apartment, right beside the very first portrait he'd ever drawn of me. One morning, teeth grazing my ear, he murmured, "So, in that dream, what exactly was I doing to you?" I rolled him beneath me, smothering his smug mouth with a pillow. "Shut up, painter." Sunlight streamed through the curtains, spilling across the wall of sketches. From campus to our apartment. From buttoned up to disheveled. From invisible light to brightness laid bare. Morning. The sunlight woke me. I squinted, reaching for my glasses on the nightstand, only to touch a ball of something soft and furry instead. I yanked my hand back in horror. "Philip Anderson. You shoved your damn socks onto my side again." The lump of human beside me stirred twice, half a face emerging from the blankets, a pillow crease still stamped across his cheek. "Where's your proof?" "Slandering an artist is a serious legal offense," he muttered with his eyes still shut, one arm snaking out to reel me back against his chest. "The proof is last week's disgusting socks still stuffed under my pillow." I jabbed his waist in protest. "Get up. It's your turn to make breakfast." Philip rolled me flat beneath him in one smooth motion, his hair a complete bird's nest, but his eyes dazzling bright. "Professor Alexander," he whispered theatrically, fingers sneaking under the hem of my pajamas. "Are you sure this is the time to debate socks?" I caught his wandering wrist. "Don't start with me. Last week you tricked me into modeling and then produced the best piece of my career," he interrupted, biting at my collarbone. "The judges called the emotional expression devastatingly real." "That's because you were tickling me." "Get off." Sunlight flooded the room. Philip froze, stared at me for 3 long seconds, then bolted for his sketchbook. "Don't move. This angle is perfect." "You maniac." I hurled a pillow at him, but he caught it easily, pencil clenched between his teeth, one hand free to snatch the pillow midair. 5 minutes, he pleaded, already sketching furiously at the edge of the bed. "Do you know you look exactly like a bristling?" I tackled him, reaching for the sketchbook, but he locked his arms around my waist, dragging me back down into the blankets. Pages scattered across the floor. One fluttered right in front of me. The drawing showed me half awake, clutching the edge of the quilt, a smear of red across my throat, kiss marks, burning brighter than sunrise. "When the hell was this?" "Yesterday morning. Right when you were crying for me to stop." His brows arched smugly. My face caught fire. I slapped a hand over his mouth, only to catch the acrid smell of something burning from the kitchen. "Your eggs." "Don't care." He twined our fingers, pinning them into the pillow. "This is more important." Outside, sparrows cocked their heads at the swaying curtain. Sunlight cast our tangled shadows over the floor, littered with sketches. On the corner of the latest page, in faint pencil, a line was scrawled. "Today's observation, my model is the cutest in the world." The end.
Thanks for stopping by. Subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on any new videos.